Harvey as my guest today. Mitchell is with Urban Rubber Paving in Vancouver. Mitchell, how are you doing on this terrific Tuesday?
I'm doing great. Sun's not out, but we're catching up on things, which has been nice.
Yeah, man. I know we've been talking about doing this for like a few weeks now, and it's been so crazy. When it's sunny, your phone's going nuts. So it's nice. I guess maybe the rain worked in our favor. We can actually get some minutes to chat here and get all caught up with you. So yeah, Mitch, can you tell us a little bit? We haven't done a live before on Facebook, so as we get into this, just want to say thanks for all the work that you provide to us here at Revive. We've been working with Mitchell now for the last year and a half or so. We come in and clean his projects and get them ready so that he can do his thing with putting down the rubber paving. So can you tell us, give us a background on your business, Urban Rubber Paving, maybe the services you guys offer, kind of where you work, and kind of who's an ideal customer for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Urban Rubber Paving started back 7 years ago in Calgary. It was started by a father-son team who I now partnered with for a company out here. So a couple of years ago, we moved and started a second branch out here in the lower mainland, and been going strong ever since. The ideal customer for us is somebody with kind of an old cracked concrete or asphalt pad, whether that's a driveway, a pool deck, sidewalk, or some stairs, that we can come in and resurface that with a rubber coating. So oftentimes it's a 5/8 to 3/4 inch rubber coating that gets put on over top of your driveway, pool deck, etc. And it gives you a brand new surface that'll last 20 plus years and look great.
So pretty much anyone who owns a home that's older, who owns a home that's, age is older than 10 years, or when does this concrete start cracking on a homeowner?
Yeah, so it really depends on the quality of the pour. But yeah, it's usually between 10 and 15 years where you'll start to see what I call detrimental cracks. Concrete usually will crack within the first 2 to 3 years. You'll see those little tiny micro cracks, but after about 10 years is when you start to see problem cracks.
Okay. And is this where are you getting the materials from to actually, if this is actually like rubber, where do you get that from to do your projects?
Yeah, so we get all our products from Surecom Industries out in Saskatoon. So they're a tire recycling company out there, as well as a rubber paving company. So they recycle all the tires in Saskatchewan. So we only get the commercial truck tires out of that, as well as their SureFlex color line, as well as some other products there as well. So all Canadian tires being recycled here, and all commercial grade truck tires.
That's amazing, man. So your material is really a recycled old tire, and you're giving it life 2.0 by laying it down on driveways, pool decks, sidewalkways, you name it.
Yeah. So we're keeping it out of the landfills. Tires don't really break down very well, so that's why we use them for your patios and walkways, because we get them to look great, and they're going to stay there for a very long time. So. Yeah.
So if I'm a homeowner and I hire Urban Rubber to come in and do my driveway, what's like my lifespan I'm looking at? If I'm kind of a numbers guy, I want to crunch it out year by year, how long can I expect something like that to last for?
Yeah. So shorter answer is we don't actually know yet, and the reason why is because the first driveway we poured was out in Saskatoon, and it's 21 years old right now. And it's still looking great, still in one piece. So
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, we always say 20 plus years, but still counting.
Man, that's really amazing. So do you think like the trajectory of this industry is going up, I would imagine? I mean, I don't think there's that many people that are doing this. What do you see as kind of, where's this industry going?
Yeah, so it's definitely starting up and getting bigger every day. The big problem is, though, that there's some companies out there that don't know what they're doing, or they'll cut corners on what they're doing. So either they're pouring too thin, or they're using a lower grade of urethane, or just not using enough urethane. So they come in, they promise 20 years, and really the product only lasts for 5 years at that point, where when you'll start seeing chunks missing and different edges wearing away, things like that. So it is getting better. People are starting to figure out what works and what doesn't. But yeah, and honestly too, we're finding new industries and new areas to apply the product in commercial applications or residential applications.
Okay. So you're really starting with a residential base and then exploring, potential commercial opportunities as well, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's just recap. So basically, you started out in Calgary with this father-son team. You got trained by them, worked with them, and now you are kind of the first transplant out, and you've started this base in Vancouver as the owner operator, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then what kind of structure have you assembled for your business? Kind of what does it look like today as you grow and get going here?
Yeah, so we've grown out here. We have a full crew. So I got 3 guys working for me on the installation front. So they've been with me since the beginning. So they know what they're doing. They've been in the industry long enough where I've been able to teach them how to install the product. New this year, we also hired a salesman too. So salesman Scott, he's been great for us. He's been able to sell the product and really free up a lot of time for me to chase down other opportunities for the company and take on a lot of those residential leads.
Nice, man. That's awesome. So you're kind of building out your production side over here with your crew going to make sure they're doing a really good job, and then over here you're running around coaching Scott, training him up, making sure your bids are good, that clients are getting a quote within a timely manner, and then you are kind of wearing that general manager hat, running around making sure everything's working harmoniously.
Yes. Yeah. So it's definitely been different this year. It's been, like I said, nice having Scott on there just to relieve some of the pressure, because I feel like a lot of small business owners, they have the same problem. You got the hunters and the skinners, where you got the people trying to get the jobs and people trying to complete the jobs. And when you have to do both of those, it's very tough to wear those 2 hats at the same time. Whereas I find it's a lot simpler to just focus on installing and getting jobs done, or just focus on lead generation and getting leads, and getting jobs. So yeah, it's still tough. I still have to switch back and forth very often, but it's definitely getting easier with the team I'm getting around me to grow.
Yeah, amen to that. It's a constant oscillating process from sales to production, back and forth all the time. And I think if you can assemble a team and help coach them to be successful in their roles, you kind of transitioning yourself from quarterback, where Mitchell's doing everything, running around, to more of a coaching role, where you can more coach that quarterback, coach Scott, to be successful in his quoting, coach your crew to provide a really solid experience. I think that's like a pretty exciting spot to be where you're at in your business right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'll just say one more thing with that too.
Yeah.
What I'm really trying to do here, and what I've been trying to do the last couple of years, is just create a solid base to build from. Because it's one thing to go out and get 1,000 jobs and complete them all and do millions in revenue, but if you don't have a solid base and a solid team that knows what they're doing, it can very quickly spike and then very quickly fall off at the end. So that's really just what I'm trying to do, is create a good base that we can build off of.
Yeah, man, that's really wise of you. I think, pushing for that sustainability rather than just 1 year you kill yourself. How could this be a successful business for 10 plus years, and also, free you up to live a life you want to live to, and have the business really be part of your life, but that you're not a slave to it every hour of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's, I know we chatted on Instagram, Mitch, probably, 3 or 4 weeks back now, but I just wanted to see how things are going amidst COVID-19. Maybe, how has your business been affected, and have you, made any new policies given this new kind of state that we're living through? So can you speak to those a little bit?
Yeah. So It's definitely affected us, as I think most people have been affected with it. Where everybody 3 weeks ago, I'd say, is just very nervous. They didn't know, is this going to be a worldwide, a bunch of people going to die from this? It's already a pandemic, but what's going to really happen to people's jobs and livelihoods and things like that? So definitely we're seeing a lot less leads coming in kind of 3-4 weeks ago. But luckily it's starting to turn around. People are understanding kind of what's going on. They have answers on their jobs, whether they're going to keep them or not, and they're staying at home. So when they're staying at home, they're looking at their ugly patio, ugly driveway, and looking to change it, because in any economic downturn, there's always people that have money and still want to spend. And a big part of our clientele are older people. A lot of them are already retired too, so it doesn't affect them quite as much. But yeah, I was going to say a couple policies we've started to put in place was obviously social distancing. So I'm not shaking anybody's hands when we're doing estimates. We're not going inside the house to present anything. We're just staying outside, staying 6 feet apart. Also washing our hands quite a bit more, as well as wiping down our tools and things like that at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so nice that both of us, I think, are pretty fortunate finding ourselves in exterior maintenance industries versus if we were going in the home for all our projects. So I think definitely having some precautions in place is a good idea, but also I think recognizing it could be quite a bit more of a hit to the business if we had to go inside on a regular basis.
Yeah, totally agree.
So you've adapted some on-site procedures. What are you doing for like marketing right now? So you said, a big passion of mine is sales and marketing, and how do we get our phone ringing as we get our small business, up and off the ground and kind of in through infancy and bring it into the world. How are you making your phone ring right now amidst everything? You said calls have come down a little bit, but now they're coming up. What's maybe like 2 or 3 things that you're doing for marketing that you're finding are working?
Yeah, so it was definitely tough in the spring too, because we weren't sure what marketing would be available to us. Our Calgary branch, their flyer company just completely shut down, so we're not sending out any more flyers. So things like that were hard. We definitely had to pivot to more of an online presence. So we're doing things like Facebook marketing. We're upping our Google ads. We're also doing Instagram, things like that, just letting people know, hey, we're still here, we're still doing business, still making driveways look great. So we did that. We had a couple home shows cancel on us too, which kind of hurt. But yeah, so short answer is we're just turning everything to an online presence and updating our website as well.
Yeah, man, I think that's good. I mean, it's kind of what's in your control right now is keeping those levers going online. I think a lot of small businesses initial knee-jerk reaction is to kind of cut all your advertising, and I think it's smart being wise where you're spending money, but still you need that phone ringing to run your business. So I think kind of watching your ad spend online, and maybe you're even could direct some of those offline marketing dollars and put them more into the online. Having said that, I think you guys have done a good job like wrapping your vehicles around town. Like we see them driving around town. You got the signs. You think you branded well online as well. So I think there still is lots of good that's been done the last few years to kind of make your brand still stand out for the consumer. Which segues into my next point. Can you talk about differentiation and how there's obviously competitors in most spaces, but specifically in the rubber paving space, how are you guys different? Maybe 1 or 2 things that if I'm a homeowner getting quotes, how would I say that Urban Rubber is different, and how is it a little bit of a blue ocean versus everybody else?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is our history. To like I said, the oldest driveway is 21 years old. The guys out in Saskatoon have been doing this for 27 years. They have much harsher winters out there, much harsher climate. So we've learned everything that we know from them. So, and we do the exact same thing out here. We don't skimp out just because it's not snowing outside or the ground's not heaving quite as much out here. So it's just having that confidence, having that history behind us that I think really does set us apart. As well as just if any questions come up or anything like that. I have 15 locations across Canada. I have over 100 people that I can call and ask, hey, like, have you ever seen this before? Or how do you tackle this problem? So it's feeling really nice to have that network behind us. The other thing, and more of a practical thing for the homeowner, is we pour our product on quite a bit thicker than a lot of our competitors. Again, to that durability standpoint with our past experiences. So the way we pour it on is we use screed bars, so metal bars to set the depth of the product. So that's going to guarantee that you always have a minimum thickness of product that's been poured down, as well as you'll actually get more rubber poured down in different dips or cracks areas where we go over top of. So
How
thicker.
thick? Sorry to cut you off. How thick did you say that pour is that you guys are doing?
Yeah, so for for walkways and patios, we're doing minimum of 5/8 of an inch thick, and then for driveways, we're doing 3/4 of an inch.
Okay. Wow. So a bit thicker on the driveway. I guess more weight or from a car.
Yeah, more. Yeah, it's got to hold up to different trucks, cars, and things driving on and off of it. So we go a little bit thicker on them.
Okay. Okay. So you got a longevity of history, like a proven track record. You're saying, and then you've got a thicker pour as well. So just probably a higher quality product, I'd imagine, with which might not show in years 1, 2, and 3, but maybe down the road. That might be like quite a significant factor, I think, in how long the product holds up. Is there anything else I guess, with regards to a thicker pour, is that reflected in your price? Like, would you say pricing is your kind of middle or lower or higher, or where do you kind of fall in the industry, would you say, with that?
Yeah. So amazingly, we're actually still able to be quite competitive price wise. And the biggest reason why is because of our SureFlex color line. So we're still able to use recycled colored products rather than getting a new EPDM or TPV rubber made up. So that's with our competitors, that's what really eats into their profit, is if they use a new synthetic rubber that they have to pour down. So
Okay.
that's often where they'll cut corners, where they'll do either a black underlay fill, or they'll just scrape it on about 1/4 inch thick on patios and things like that.
Okay.
Which again, like you hit it right on the button. It looks fine the first couple of years, but 4 or 5 years down the road, you're going to start seeing chunks come out and see concrete underneath. So yeah, it's again just that knowledge and that history behind us, knowing like that's not gonna last, and that's not a good way to build a business, and that's exactly why we don't do it.
Wow. Yeah, those are two pretty big contributing factors, that would make you different. I mean, I guess price could be another one too, that you're, offering a quite a high quality product at a very competitive price. I mean, that's quite a good value proposition, I think, for somebody looking at, all the different quotes that they're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It is the option ever for a homeowner just to like repave with what they have on there? Or is that not really a consideration ever? Do they mention that at all?
Like repave with the concrete or asphalt?
Yeah, exactly. So just they're looking at our current surface and being like, oh, I could just get that crack fixed and repave what I had, type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's kind of a different levels of the concrete market that we can touch on. The lowest and cheapest product that does not last more than a year is just skim coating a 1/2 inch of concrete over top. Cracks right away, it doesn't bond to the surface underneath, so never would recommend doing something like that. There's not really a good product out there to fix cracks and make it look the same. Like, you're always still going to have those spider cracks outlines in your driveway or in your patio. You can rip it out and completely repave it. That usually costs about twice as much as actually rubber paving it if it's done properly. So
Okay.
another big struggle I kind of have is just explaining to people, like, yeah, they're only a couple grand more to get the concrete redone. But the guy who's putting the concrete in is only doing a 2-inch thick pour with no rebar, no support mesh in there. So it's going to look fine for a couple of years, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, it's going to be right back to where we started. So
yeah, okay. So that really, doesn't sound like it's really a viable option, as good as the value I think is from just going with rubber paving right away.
Yeah, you get a better looking product that is flexible, not going to crack on you, as well as it being slip resistant if you have any steep slopes or stairs that you need to walk on.
Okay. Amazing, man. You're a wealth of knowledge.
That's taken me a while, but I got there.
Yeah, that's good. I got two more questions for you, Mitch, and then I know you got to use your rain day wisely with administration and all the other things a business owner gets to worry about. Let's talk about challenges. So what's maybe one or two challenges you face as a business owner that if, say someone getting into this, I could go do this, I could do it no problem. What's the kind of warnings you'd have to this person, maybe one or two things that been challenging for you the last bit?
Yeah, but in rubber paving specifically, or just business in general?
Let's go bigger. Let's go just in general. You're running a small business. You don't have, that guaranteed steady paycheck that an employee would have. You're the entrepreneur. You own this thing. To talk to us from that place.
Yeah, I would definitely say a hard thing, especially when you're first starting out, is you feel very alone because everything comes back to you. If you're not doing it, it doesn't get done. And if things don't get done, you don't get paid. People don't get paid. So a lot of pressure and responsibility. So I definitely would say get a crew around you, whether it's employees or friends or fellow entrepreneurs that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can gain knowledge from. Because it's a tough journey. There's definitely up weeks and down weeks, but having a crew around you that is gung ho or is able to give you different advice definitely helps ease that pain.
Man, that's really good. I think the CRM we're on is Jobber, and we've been super happy with their platform. But they're always talking about, last month's theme was community, and as what you said exactly, as a business owner, you need to have that community, that wolf pack around you, because there's as many tough days as there are good days, if not more, probably. So I think having people like you and other businesses we interact with through Jobber, because it's all the same problems. I would say the principles are all the same. They're system breakdowns, and it's just different. Is this thing still dirty, or this painting wasn't correctly done, or this rubber paving is kind of lumpy, or the wallpaper is not removed, or my lawn is still not edged properly. So they're all similar principled problems, just I think the thing is different. So I think that's a pretty big one that you're touching on there. Anything else with challenges? Has it been hard hiring that crew to do the job? I just think paving's pretty technical. It kind of scares me a little bit how technical it is. But was that a challenge at all, hiring this crew and training them up?
Yeah. So for me, I definitely stayed on the crew. I'm still doing installs too. I'm still on my hands and knees most days for installs, troweling and doing that finer work just to make sure our clients get the best possible job they can. It's definitely tough. Going into it, you always expect things and they don't happen right away. It really just takes time. So hiring, I definitely got very lucky with the guys I was hiring. I definitely did not do a great job interviewing, things like that, but I was able to get a couple of referrals and then lucked out on another guy as well that was able to come on board. So definitely do a better job than I did when you're hiring. Talk to some other people who are more experienced. Get questions in line. Think of past jobs you've done, which guys you liked working with, and definitely take the extra time because I've been truly blessed with the guys I've gotten. I don't think I would be here without having those guys out here. So
You said those guys were referrals from like people, tying it back to the last point, probably people in that community that you're talking of.
Yeah, it was. So I got one guy off Indeed, and then two guys were referrals, and then a third guy, that was salesman, actually approached us and loved the product, saw our advertising, and wanted to sell for us. So.
Well, man, I think you're selling yourself a little bit short saying it was, that you got lucky. I mean, you work your butt off, and I think the brand you're building attracts a certain type of person that wants to be on your team. So I think, call it what you may, but I think it is lots of your hard work and late nights and up early mornings. And so I think, I see you building your brand, and it's pretty inspiring, I think, what you're doing, and even just chatting off camera before, some opportunities you have coming up with where the business could be heading, I think is as a friend makes me excited seeing what you're doing. So keep it going.
I appreciate that.
Last question, 30,000 foot view. We're in the airplane. We're looking over the land. Where do you see Urban Rubber Paving in Vancouver? So your business, where do you see this thing in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Talk us through what the company looks like, where you see the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obviously continued growth with our company in our residential sector. I think in the next 2 to 3 years, commercial sector will start to make leaps and bounds. Again, I've been very fortunate to have kind of Scott join our crew and take a lot of those residential leads for us, so I can focus a little bit more on the commercial sector. So different things in the future for us. Playgrounds is a big one. Different commercial, like we're doing some testing on products too that we can possibly roll out in things like warehouses or things where there's massive concrete forms that are cracking and you really don't want to pull them out. So giving a good surface over top. So we're still in the testing phase with that, but we're getting pretty close where I think we're happy with where that's headed, as well as just different entryways, things like that, even possibly an indoor product as well we might be using. So yeah, just a lot of different things, mostly on the commercial side that we're growing. Yeah, again, 2-3 years, we want to have our crew. I'm hoping to have the same guys in 2-3 years. Obviously, with the younger guys, you can never tell. They might go off and become a teacher or something else. So
yeah,
my guys are in school for teaching. So
that's cool. So they go back to school in the fall, I guess, assuming COVID has school.
Yes. So that was one kind of nice thing, is they were off a little bit earlier this year, so I was able to use them a bit more in the springtime.
Nice. Okay.
And then in the fall they go back. So
because that probably fits your seasonality of your business pretty good, hey? With kind of the same spike up as students get out of school, they're like full-time work with you, and then slow down maybe a bit with paving, and then back into school.
Yeah, no, it works out great. It works even better in Calgary too, because they have snow until beginning of May. It actually snowed 2 or 3 days ago out there.
I bet you're happy to be back in BC, hey?
Oh yeah, they hate me out there. Every time they call, I always tell them the temperature out here and it's sunny.
Yeah.
But yeah, even out here it works great too. We're still able to have a skeleton crew in the fall and the spring. The guys still like to work extra hours. And
okay. Yeah. Well, I know you've got a few projects too. I won't spill any beans, but I know you got a few, opportunities we've talked about for other divisions of your business you could take to maybe do some filling for like winter work. I think could maybe be good. So we keep that on the down low for you to unveil, but kind of cool, I think, how much research you're doing to see what works and what's going to be a good fit for your business as you guys keep growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still developing, still pivoting, still growing. So rubber is a cool product. Doesn't break down and it stays flexible. So there's a lot of different applications, which I don't even think I've touched on yet, where we can take it and market it there. So, but that's 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Day to day, year to year, we're just doing residential and focusing on growing the foundation.
Sweet. I have one bonus question I'll ask in a sec, but what's the best way? Say I'm a homeowner, I'm at home in quarantine. I've been thinking of doing my driveway. I watched some of this interview. You seem like a great guy. How would I get a quote? Best way to get in touch, and kind of what can I expect after I reach out?
Yeah, so best way to get in touch would be to go to our website. So it's www.urbanrubberpaving.com. Check that out. There's a bunch of pictures on there, a bunch of information. We also have a request a quote system on there. So you put in your information, your phone number, name, kind of your project, and we'll give you a call, usually within 24 to 48 hours. And then we'll arrange to have somebody come out, give you a quote. Obviously, social distancing, hands-free quote there. And then we can give you a price and then go from there. And then it's really up to your schedule there, as well as our booking time on when that gets installed.
Okay. And I guess the weather too, probably wait for like a good sunny day.
Yeah, that tough thing in our business is scheduling jobs, because it's always like, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks.
Yeah, trust me, man. I painted for over 10 years. I know the drill. Toggling the schedule is it can be frustrating, but I think if you're attracting and luring in your ideal clients, I think generally they're pretty understanding.
Yeah, most people are pretty good. They understand, and they want the best product too, and that's really what it comes down to. If I install in the rain, it'd be garbage. So
totally
better to wait and install a better product.
Totally. Your bonus question is drum roll. Tell us. You're obviously growing your business and learning. What are maybe like a favorite book you've read, or a podcast, or people you hang out with? Where do you kind of learn from? Like, hey, that's a cool idea. I heard actually on a podcast, the guy was calling R&D traditionally research and development. He's calling it Rob and what did he say? Rob and deploy, I believe. I might have messed it up, but basically, like, you learn it and you're like, oh, that's in a house painting business. That could actually work in my paving business. Where do you get your ideas from? Your knowledge, books, podcasts, people? Give us like a gold nugget or two, and then we'll say bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So I try and actually gain a lot of knowledge internally too. I think that's something that most people kind of ignore, but I try and gain knowledge from my employees who might see a different way we can install a certain product, or our salesmen a different way we can market our product. So first and foremost, I try and start there, because they know the product, they know what works, and they're going to have the best knowledge for me there. Outside of that too, definitely read quite a bit of books. I'm an audiobook guy. When I'm driving around doing quotes or driving out to see some jobs, I listen to this. So recent one I read was Good to Great. I think it's Phil
Jim Collins.
I was going to say Phil Collins, but that's
yeah. You're thinking of Phil from Shoe Dog.
Yeah, Phil Knight.
Yeah, that's because you got me onto that book, so thank you for that. I think that's where your mind was jumping.
Yeah. No, great book as well. So Collins. What was his first name again? Jim.
Jim. Yeah.
Jim Collins. So, great book. Would recommend it. Just honestly, it gave me a lot of confidence. It was either Good to Great or Built to Last, but it talks about just CEOs and kind of these top level CEOs and how they're not always like these yell at everybody, super charismatic leaders. They're the guys that show up every day and make their workplace and company a little bit better every single day. And over the course of time, that's usually what builds a better company. So I'm not that type of person where I'm waving my arms saying, everybody look at me, I'm the best, go from there. So it was really encouraging to know that you could still have a great company and not be that slightly arrogant guy.
You're a pretty consistent guy, though. What I know of you, like, you just take action steps. And like, one thing, actually, not to nerd out too much on books, but I actually think Jim Collins talks about what's called the 20-mile march, and that was these two guys were racing to either the North Pole or South Pole, but one guy had a team that basically said, when it's a sunny day, we're gonna like hike like gangbusters, and when it's really cold, we're gonna just like chill out. And the other guy, team number 2, he just said, we're gonna do 20 miles every single day. Like, I don't care what the weather is, just get up, we're gonna do that. And the guy who did the 20 miles every day, like, whooped the other guy. The other guy had his team sick and died, and I'm probably butchering the story a little bit, but he says to build a successful company, just march your 20 miles every single day. Don't care what the weather is or the external conditions. Just do your 20 miles. So maybe that's making 10 prospecting phone calls, or doing your email campaign, or putting up your signs, or the things that we always put off as business owners, rather than, oh, it's a sunny day, let's put in a good day's work, but then, rain day, it's not favorable, so we won't. So I think that's some good learning that I've had. And also with the audiobooks, your brother, actually, Kenton, got me onto Audible. So shout out to Kenton. That was probably 2 or 3 years ago. He texted me and said, just download this app. I've been on it, and I'm still on Audible, and think of Kenton when I listen to books.
Oh yeah, he crushes books on there. It's it's like he went through a stretch there where he was reading like 3 or 4 a week kind of thing on Audible, where he just whatever he was working on, he was just able to listen to different books. So yeah, no, he actually got me on Audible as well. So shout out to him.
Shout out to Kenton. And for those of you watching, I had Kenton on here for a chat, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, with his healthy pre-made delivered meals, gourmet food, mealprep.com. So shout out to Kenton. But go ahead.
One last thing I'll say too is Kenton and you actually have been great for just helping mentor me and help giving me different advice too. So I know I said internal and books, but there's also other people that have been great to, just ask questions, kind of even just vent about certain things, or just get advice on. It's been great to have both you guys in my life here.
Yeah, I like what you said too off the top. You said you get feedback internally, and I think the best leaders are also the best listeners. And I think if you can talk directly to your team and say, is this system working? What's clunky about this? How could we redo this? I think lots of times the answers are like literally within our own team. We just think in our own head as the business owner, like we need to know everything. So it's something every week in our team meeting, I ask for innovations from the team. What can we be doing better? And I think having that posture of always wanting to learn and listen and get feedback, you're going to just make a better company ultimately. So I think that's good. Very well said on your part there.
Thanks.
Sweet, Mitch. Well, I'm going to let you run. We're over time here, which is also the sign of a good interview. So thanks for your time. I'm going to link to your contact info for your company, as well as your website. So if you are a homeowner looking to spruce up your home here as we come into our first transitionary phase of COVID, definitely reach out to Mitch. He does great work and has a really good team behind him, and they are doing great work. So I'm sure they'd love to get you a quote on doing doing their driveway or pool deck or side walkway. And we at Revive will keep referring you guys as well for all our clients who need rubber paving. So I want to say thanks for being in our referral network, and you're also a great client of ours. And all the business stuff aside, you're just an awesome human being. So thanks for giving us 40 minutes of your time here out to the world on Facebook.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
Sweet, Mitch. Well, have a good one, man, and thank you again.
All right, no problem.
See you later. See ya.